Здравствуйте, мальчишки и девчонки, в платьях и штанишках, кто-нибудь в труселях, наверное. Начнем 4-ю серию Disco Elysium. Так, в прошлой серии мы пробрались на завод. Сейчас будем его изучать. Что у нас тут есть? Есть дверь. Я так понимаю, это уже на одной территории. Угу. Вокруг неподвижные гигантские машины. Белые сосны. Что тут еще есть? Да, что-то притормаживает игра. Квалсунд. Этот контейнер можно как-то опустить, наверное. Давайте-ка пойдем в ту дверь, которую мы пропустили. Угу. Какие-то там киты. Это выход, наверное. Раз. Это не выход, оказывается. Это офис. Ну, давайте пройдемся по офису. Так, это выход. Это какая-то хреновая.
A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change.
А у меня сколько бабла? 8. Ну вот, 1200, которые я должен за погром. 10 центов, ничего не.
The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Запишемся.
Advanced race theory.
О, я изучил расовую теорию.
Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your...
Так, а бомжекоп-то я поставил только что изучаться. Осталось 4 часа 20 минут. Жесть. Ладно. Записываемся.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. Phone calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
В голосе юнца на том конце провода столько же энтузиазма, как у человека, идущего на виселицу.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. No. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here. Maybe you call to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? If you need any further assistance, you can visit us on the corner of Voyager and Main. I can't help you over the phone. Are we done?
Угу.
call is terminated by the other party. You're left with...
Да и хуй с тобой, золотая рыба. Краткое описание информатериализма. Чтобы изучить книгу, используйте кнопку «Взаимодействовать» в инвентаре. Проблем нет. Где предметы? Не понял. А, взаимодействовать. Чьей-то задницей думал.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return
Короче,
to
я
the
люблю
table
картинки
of
смотреть.
contents.
Нахрен эти буквы.
The magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concern.
Давайте.
As you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. Only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated their readership. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs,
Ким, кажется, это
please consider
коммунистический журнал.
subscribing today. Yours in struggle.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Международное положение. Хочу узнать, что творится в мире.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border. Something about bear wrestling in Samara. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that. It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV,
Самарийской Народной
devised
Республики.
and promoted by none other than President Knežinski himself.
Княжинский.
According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV. Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
Демократически избранный президент в коммунистической стране.
Sapormat Sport Knežinski is well into his 3rd decade as president of the SRV. Outside Samara,
Третий
he's
десяток лет
known
уже.
for 3 things: brutal repression of internal dissent, monumental corruption, and
Короче,
a near
диктатор.
pathological obsession with physical
Пойдем к
fitness. It's
медвежьей
quite
борьбе.
straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases, woman, against 1 beer. 2 competitors, 1 ring. 5 rounds. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public
87%.
support stands at 87%. And youth obesity, this is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Shirt. What are you? A
Что-то я не верю этим
statistician?
цифрам.
Did the moral intern send you on a fact-finding mission? This is the SRV party line, comrade.
Угу.
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask? You know, not too long ago, I listened to a fascinating radio program on traditional Samaran folk dances. The costumes they wear are supposed to be in any event. No, I haven't seen any evidence there's a Samaran angle to...
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of... It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur, why
Искусство и
they
культура.
decided to title this one. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled "The Tip Top Tournée is an Inter-Isolari Race." This so-called
Как
artist
долго.
spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Угу.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season. Maybe
Может быть,
sprinkled
какими-нибудь
with some nice
забавными историями?
anecdotes about. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
Тип-топ турне.
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis. So, all of it, basically.
Риторика, то есть фактически все. Погоди, а кто это написал? А что такого плохого в спонсоре? Что плохого в хорошей автокатастрофе? С ними только смотреть интереснее.
Oddly enough, this article
Это любопытно, у
has
статьи
two
указано 2
bylaws.
автора.
Настеп
Настеп.
Encolada Bernal and
Настеп,
Exilus Buka.
Энкалада, Барналь и Исул Бюхер, блин. Ну именно.
There's no way those
Я так
are
понимаю,
real names.
мир игры ничего общего с нашим миром не имеет. За исключением некоторых пересекающихся моментов, типа коммунизма.
Have you ever met anyone named Exilus?
Исул.
Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms.
Так, что плохого
Under
в спонсорстве?
capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a
Короче,
competition between
гонки проводят для того,
increasingly
чтобы бабки
meaningless
сорубить.
brand signifiers. Your discount laundry and that precisely is what's problematic about it. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective. I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to...
Если верить молодым людям, которые написали эту статью, уверен, что большая часть вещей метафора
If I
жизни
had
при
to wager,
капитализме.
I'd say they've never
Могу
even
поспорить,
seen
что они никогда
except
даже
for
двигатель изнутри не
motor
видели, не
coaches,
говоря
motor
уже в
race.
гонках.
I
Всё,
take
что
whatever they write
они
with a large
пишут,
grain of salt.
стоит воспринимать с изрядной долей скептиса.
You flip back to the front of the
Ты
magazine.
перелистываешь
The
страницу
table of
обратно,
contents
к
unfolds
началу,
before
вновь
you.
открывая оглавление. Посмотрим, что они имеют в виду под местными вопросами.
Unsurprisingly, much of this
Вполне
section
ожидаемо
is
большая
taken
часть
up with
рубрики занята
articles
выражением
declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike.
безоговорочной поддержки в адрес бастующих докеров.
You skim the headlines.
Ты
Paint the
просмотришь
harbor red
заголовки.
and white.
Покрасим порт
Martinez tames
красный
the
и
wild
белый.
pines.
Мартинес укращает Wild Pines.
First we take
Восставший город.
Martinez.
Сначала мы
then we
захватили
take
Мартинес,
La
потом
Delta.
захватим Дельту.
Finally, there's a brief article by the
Ё-моё.
writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape.
Давайте
One of
быстренько
the editor.
пролистаем.
You flip back to the front
тут?
of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before.
Нафиг журнал, короче. До свидания. Дальше что? Хватит. Открытка. 4 бакса стоит. Реал. Хватит. Что тут еще хватит? Оба-на. Ну-ка, ну-ка, ну-ка. Да я теперь сейчас крутым стану. Так, одежда. Где одежда? Вот одежда. Ну-ка. О, ни хрена себе. Типок. Ну-ка, пошли печатать. Говорят, если бесконечное количество обезьян будут бесконечно печатать на печатной машинке, то когда-нибудь получится война и мир. Член правления. Требуем демократии. Так, ну я так понимаю, это выход. Да. С председателем профсоюза. Ну, пошли. Закрыто. Ладно, будем искать ключ. Оп. Блин. Так. Ладно, заходим обратно. Тут я пропустил, оказывается, шкафчик.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to prop.
It's unfortunate for the union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into and the same materials being handed over to companies.
Ну-ка.
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company
28.
names, dates,
Сила воли.
quantities, and percentages.
Записываемся.
The drawer slides shut smoothly.
Поперли.
Stand steady as ever. And whatever's hidden here is
Успех.
hidden well.
Ура.
Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht,
Полить растения
water
Эврара.
Everard's plants,
Самое
sweep
важное.
office floor,
Подмести в
more
офисе.
banners.
Еще
All
плакаты.
items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list.
Так.
Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the drawer
Ладно, мне
slides
больше
shut.
нечего делать. Точно все пересмотрели? Вроде бы все. Ну ладно, пошли отсюда. Так, идем дальше. Что-то тут погодка испортилась. Снег идет. А снег идет, снег идет. По ебалу мне бьет. Множество пустых бутылок из-под красного командора. И пильзнел крепкое. Это пиво, да? Так, что тут у нас? Ага, Не могу. Ну, пошли. Давай сюда.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads René
Рене
Arnaud.
Арно.
Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a
Ким, я быстро гляну, что там.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and there's sparse content. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a royal...
Why did you take that? Fine. But let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around here.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does...
I'm not here to tell you what to do, detective.
Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, profits
Да,
disease.
целый
Don't think
перечень
about
побочных
that.
эффектов.
Quick, think about something else.
Угу. Святые Божии, я подошел к женщине, на самом деле произнес: я хочу с тобой перечпокнуться. Что, блядь, со мной не так?
Maybe this was a bad idea.
Нахуй энергетики.
You
Не будем
stand
наркоманом.
and exit the...
До свидания. Так, что еще? Что тут еще есть? Угу. Так, тут, по-моему, ни хрена больше нет. Вот это что такое? Хочу сюда. Куда это тут попер? Попер-бобер. Ни хрена тут нету. Пошли дальше. Сейчас нас тут спалят, дадут пизды. И мы съебемся. Угу. Завод работает, да? А, завод же на забастовке. Никого тут нет. Ну, это нам на руку. Ну-ка. Огромные машины спят. Что это? Угу. Пошли дальше. Так. Тут есть баночки. Спиздить. О, баба. Угу. Так. Какая-то хуйня. Ну-ка, что тебе надо тут?
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made
Он
up.
напевает
as
свою
he
песенку
goes.
про контейнер, выдумывая слова на ходу.
The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisund on Muindi.
Бисун. Убисун. Орфография сохранена.
Container, container, used to be Well Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard.
Угу. Привет.
Everard, 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 he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister? I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
Если вы понимаете, о чем я говорю, господин хороший. Ты Уби,
Oh,
верно?
yes. Born and raised
Ну
in
да.
Iraish, mister. Mom had to leave my dad after he got on a
Родился и
pilot.
вырос
Took us
в
to the new
Ирайше.
world. I was about
Скорее
10
всего,
then.
Израиль,
Too
наверное.
old to lose my accent then.
Угу.
People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot.
Хм.
I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No, sir. Those are
Еще
just
говорят, что они
nasty rumors.
овец трахают.
Thank you
Походу.
for clarifying that, sir.
Что ты делаешь с
Oh, I'm just
контейнерами,
making
сволочь
some
такая?
covers for them containers here. Yes, I
Ебать.
am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Логика. Надо бы записаться. Давайте мы, наверное,
Sure, mister. About what? Bye-bye now.
сохранимся. Теперь опять доебемся до мужика.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. No trouble at all, mister. Oh,
Что ты
I'm just
делаешь с
making some
контейнерами?
covers
Ну-ка
for
давай,
them
говори.
containers.
Everything
Ну,
is so
удача, да
pretty
ладно.
in red. You and Leo look like brothers.
Загружаемся. Быстро,
I'm just
логику.
making some covers for...
The
Успех.
containers in the yard are green in wild pines livery, and the mountains rising. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yards.
Красная инфекция. Это коммунизм, типа, что ли?
There appear to be cisterns underneath the Union container covers.
No, not really. Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone.
Довольно
Yes,
масштабная
they are
операция.
hiding it from the inside. All the red containers have the Debarders Union logo on them.
До бордеров. Дебордеров. Ну,
Oh, I don't know, mister. They say it's some chemicals. Most of them have
Хи-хи-хи,
labels on them, I
Микаты.
think.
Угу. Наркота, короче.
Oh, no trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
2 месяца не работаем.
So no
Отлично.
one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding... But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh,
Ну-ка.
I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling him to take some time off.
Что
I
они
guess the
сделали?
boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. Well, that's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway.
Толку ты от него не добьешься, даже не пытайся. Просто плыви по течению.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business.
Да. Короче, он был крутым типом.
But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help.
В школе.
Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real
Так,
nice
ладно.
guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the board. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every
Из
day
танцев
since
каждый
the
день.
strike
Опять наркоту
started.
добавляет, борщ, сволочь такая.
very good. Makes a man feel so
Тепло
warm
и
and happy.
хорошо.
I feel like I can
Мгм.
take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done. Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling
А
in
готовят его в
rags.
танцах и трепе. Угу. В той гостинице, где я был. А кто его
Oh, the
готовит?
whirling's cook. He makes it.
Кстати,
Them is always
15:00.
talking with Mr. Manana and that
Можно идти
weird
на кухню.
language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh,
Ну,
sure,
давай.
mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
He didn't actually understand
Мгм.
what you meant, and now he's just nodding.
Он не понял, что ты имеешь в виду. И сейчас просто кивает. Да.
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Только женская рука.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like
Очень ладная дама. Кожа у нее как у конфетки, которые моя благоверная так обожает. Их так приятно пососать после ужина, когда мы вдвоем садимся послушать радио.
But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here, and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, Lizzie, she is a real
Lizzie.
sharp tool. Mr.
Умница,
Everett
разумница,
let her do some
господин.
fancy school and everything, east of the river.
He respects that word.
Очевидно, что он уезжает, уважает это слово.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along
Так,
with
Lizzie.
everyone. If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Being a
So
Мгм.
Everett trained a lawyer named Miss Beaufort. Interesting.
Yes, this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
well, thanks a lot. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them. Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up. Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made merchandise for
Расхваливает
today.
всех.
Oh, Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of
В
course.
своем офисе. Нет его там. А, соединенных контейнеров справа. Ладно. Спасибо, мужик. Счастливо. Быстро сохранимся. Пошли дальше. Это вот он, да, офис? Ну, пошли в офис. Так. Что тут есть? Угу. Пошли дальше. О, толстопуз. А я тебя знаю. Придется опять болтать с толстопузом.
Before you is a
Ох
walrus
ты,
of a
рожа
man
какая.
seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the
Размером
least
с
bit
моржа.
surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares
Вы
at you.
руководите портовыми рабочими.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everett Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez.
Дебардеров Мартинеза.
I'd offer you my
Дальше.
hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up.
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it
Он
can't
считает, что от этого человека ничего хорошего ждать не стоит. Я сделаю, что смогу.
forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff?
Забудь об
I'm
этом.
getting some
Что это за
seriously
фигня с
bad
Дюба?
vibes from that name.
Дюбуа. От этого имени исходят какие-то недобрые вибрации.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right.
Наверное, не важно.
It's
Забудь об
nothing.
этом, выбрось из головы.
Forget about it. Filter it out.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan of Felician, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Садись или уходи. Да, сучка. Пошел. Почему ж не?
Mr. Dubois, I hope time is...
Я
Please,
постою.
Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
Ну ладно,
Excellent,
давай.
Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead. Take it.
Бабло мне
That's 25
пригодится.
That's good money. You
Тебе
need
не нужны.
it.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No...
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Может, это для смешно запихать себе в жопу. Ну, я
Is there
возьму.
anything you'd like to say to me? Or... Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager. But, now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo.
Потерянный пистолет.
Lost gun.
Короче,
Lost
ствол
gun.
мой
Lost
проебали.
The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape. Oh God, why didn't you think of this before? Cops have guns. Where's yours?
Да заебали тебя.
It's gone. Your gun is gone. There's
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2
Самообладание.
barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't...
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Так, меня в угол
Officer,
загнали,
we
да?
will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
3%. Конечно, провалю, блин. Так, взял необычный чек. Не поблагодарил. Пистолет оказался сюрпризом. Этот стул просто для пыток. Побочные эффекты пугают. Так, походу мне придется загружаться.
God, you're sweating.
Конечно.
Your knee.
Загружаемся, нахуй. Давайте.
straightens himself up.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. I'm Ever. I'd offer you my hand.
He looks extremely comfortable.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a Very well, Mr. Dubois. I, too, should you find your...
You're no Titan of Volition, buddy. He's got you in a fork.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men, so tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in...
Oh, by the way, I heard this should take care of that It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days, and patch over your differences.
Wow, that's 25 real.
Yes, I know.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least...
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost. The world is swallowed by... Oh, God. Why didn't you think of this before? Cops have... Fuck love. This is your gun. This is serious.
Are you all right, Harry? It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose...
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep it.
Officer.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this?
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of...
Maybe you could use your hands somehow. In a kind of throw-in motion. Like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac.
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out. With my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. No, man, it's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Это просто коричневая папка. Ты не можешь прочесть, что на ней написано.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
Драма.
Everard's large hands are covering the folder.
Придется загружаться. Давайте еще раз.
Before you is, with great effort, he straightens it.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of... I'm Everard Clare. Head of... I'd offer you my hand, but I'm...
He looks extremely comfortable.
You go ahead.
Whatever he has it, forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff?
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable... So tell me, how...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable...
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather... This should take care... It should be sufficient.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Okay, oh... Now,
His slug-like lips move, but the world is swallowed by a black hole. Oh God, why didn't you think of this before? Fuck love.
are you alright? It's not like you...
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded. God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You want to cry?
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this?
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He...
What an odd demonstration of...
Okay, enough. We are...
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age...
Мое тело готово отказаться. Отказать в любой момент. Угу.
The big
Промолчать.
man peers at you over the rims of his glasses.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed... Of course. Let us... My God, so it's...
I think the odds of that.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion.
So good to...
Words flow like a river of honey from... I guess word is just a
Давайте
brown
быстрее.
folder. You can't make...
Are you trying to...
Mr. Kitzer...
Don't just jump to the folder.
Нахрен пошел.
That's not... As you look at the
Так.
folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real ass.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your action.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi, from the...
That means he doesn't really know anything. A pity.
Мгм.
The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Yes, your lost gun. My best... Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Мгм.
Who knows? Only one thing is certain. If you work with him, you're going to get it back. And working with him might be the only way to do it.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving... You know what? Don't even tell me.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to...
Но.
But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to...
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines.
Открывание двери. В
Incredibly
этом, вероятно,
talented at
таланты.
opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards
Почему вам
your
самому не
own.
открыть эту дверь? И чья это дверь? Я уверен, вы даже ничего не знаете о повышении. Черт, ладно, я займусь этим. Нам нужно поговорить об убийстве.
fantastic, my friend. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates.
Маньяны.
Manana's like a free agent in the
Он стоит у
Union.
воротов.
Special
Маньян. В
operations.
Союзе вроде добровольного агента отвечает
A
за
real free thinker, too.
спецоперации.
He'll tell you
Социалист до мозга
precisely where the
костей.
door is. One last thing, Harry. Just
Ладно.
open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that
До
weight.
свидания.
You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Да. Ладно. Что тут еще есть? Проебали три лекарства на этом гребаном стуле. Ну да ладно, идем. Что мы тут взяли? Откройте дверь в квартиру для Эврара. Особый борщ. Ладно, давайте. Что-то много заданий накопилось. Пойдем по заданиям, наверное. Так, вышли мы из этого кабинета. В общем, у нас боевой дух +1 зарядов 0. Здоровье +1 зарядов 1. Ладно, давайте залечим здоровье. И на этом, наверное, по нулям серию закончим. В следующей серии пойдем по заданиям. По мелким всяким. Вернемся, наверное, в гостиницу. Точнее, в ее район. Поспрашиваем эту девчонку, которая там садовница. Поспрашиваем про борщ. Как раз у нас 15:40. День первый. Ну все. На этом прощаюсь с вами. До следующей серии.